Agun Erev Shabbos. So this morning we were learning the din that Rav said that if somebody says, Reuven, let's say, tells Shimon that the money that I have, the $100 that I have by you, or that is in your possession, so give it to a third party. Mana libi yadchatz no loy lepleni. And the Rav said that if all three of them are there, which the din is called Maiman Shlashtan, which means that the Malva, the Lev, and the third party are all there, so the halacha is kana, that the third person, the third party is kaina this mana, and the Lev. So l'chayra, if you're in such a case, you're saying that the guy is meshabed himself with that know that he has more time for the loan. What if the loan gets transferred to these loan sharks? They're going to mamish tie him up and drive him crazy. So too, they will not acquire the money in the presence. The maimer shloshton will not work because the borrower does not agree. You're saying that the maimer shloshton works because the borrower agrees that he has extension of the new loan. Over here, he doesn't have. He's no one know that there's a new lender. Fakert, it's worse. So Elam Omar Marzutra says like this. He says that Hani Tlasmili, these three things that we mentioned, Shavinu Rabbanan Kehilchas Ablay Time. The Chachamim were like mekabelit malacha meisha misinai, and really they don't need to give any reason. But I skipped the line. Sorry. If you're going to say that by an adam who's very, very strong, you're right. The person cannot be makne imkein asati dvarech l'shurim. And then it comes out that basically you're giving yourself shurim. You're giving yourself circumstances. You're saying that in the case of the maimer shloshton will only work when he has a no. But if he has no, it won't work. That's if it's halacha maimer shloshton. You can't say it works in this case, but it works in doesn't case. If maimer shloshton works, it has to work in all scenarios. So he says, Allah Amar Marzutra says, Hani Tlas Mili. These three things, Shavina Rabbana Kehilchas Ablay Taima. These three matters were instituted by the Chacham as halacha. In other words, halacha meisha misinai. And he says like this, Chadaha. The first reason is this that we just mentioned in the case of Maimer Shloshtan, that the acquisition in the presence of all three parties will work. As we just explained, the whole din of Maimer Shloshtan. The other thing he said is, Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel says, HaKoisiv kol nechasav le'ishteh. If somebody writes a document that he's giving all his properties to his wife, le'asan ela apitropia. He's only making his wife an apitropos, like a caretaker, that she should be metapel in the properties, but he's not giving the properties to his wife as a gift. In other words, when a shchimera writes in a shtar befedish that he's giving the nechasim to his wife, that we basically say that he doesn't mean to give it as a gift, but he's just making her a appointee, that she's going to be achrei of all the nechasim. And the reason why, the Chachamim will not, the Chachamim estimated that a person's not going to just write that leave his kids without any nechasim. Doesn't make any sense. So therefore, when they write this, we say that he means to make her a apitropis. Now that's the second thing. And the third thing is the Amar Reb Chanina says, Hamas isha lebnei godol bebayis. If a person marries his oldest son in his house, in other words, that he made a chasana there in this house, Kano, the son acquires the house, even though the father did not say this befedish that he's giving to the son the house as a matana, and also there's no kinyan over there, but nevertheless we say that the father meant to give him the house. Those are the three things, which is like kilo halacha meisha misinai. Now, Omar le Rav the Rav Acha Bardla. Now, with regards to the Maimer Shloshtan, this din, the Gemara says that Rav said to Rav Acha Bardla, he said that Kabo de Meriko islich legaboch. I have a kav of like saffron, which is a type of plant. So he says that I have a kav with you. In other words, that you owe me. And he told him again, Kabi de Meriko islich legabich yave lepleni. So he says that this kav of saffron that's with you, that you owe me, give it to so and so. So Rav says, Rav said this to Rav Acha Bardla, he says, Ba'apei ka'amin alach teloi hadar nabi. Rav says, I'm adding this in his presence. So this is a case of Maimer Shloshton. All three of them are together. And he says clearly, Rav says that this Meirika that you have, give it to so-and-so, and they were all three together. Why did he say this? He said this because Rav added that I say this to you in the presence so that I will not retract from the stream, that I will not go back. So now the Gemara asks the obvious question. Michlal, the Ibai Hadar Bey. Now he's saying that I'm saying this to you in front of the third person so I don't retract, which is mashma, mechlal. We can learn from here that the Ibai Hadar Bey, had he not made a Tanai in this manner and wished to retract his statement, the Chayra Matzi Hadar Bey, he could retract it. And this would mean that a standard case of Maimer Shloshton is not fully effective, and it's a big problem. We said Maimer Shloshton does work. So the Gemara answers and says, Hachi Kamer, this is what Rav said. He meant to say, he's explaining, I am saying this to you in the presence because these types of Maimer Shloshton cannot be retracted. Rav was not adding a condition, but he was explaining what Maimer Shloshton means. So the Gemara asks, Ha'omar Rav Chadazimna, but Rav already said this one time. Rav says, to know the plain, we have a clear, Rav said clearly, Maimer Shloshton Kana. So why would he say this again? He already said the din, that in the case of Maimer Shloshton, a practical case of Maimer Shloshton, this works. So why would he say it a second time? So the Gemara answers and says like this, if he would just say in that case, in other words, that this type of kinyan works in the presence of all three parties, it was only derived from that halacha, I would say that when there's a big gift, so you need the Maimer Shloshton, you need to have all three present in order to transfer this large gift. But what about a small gift? Then, if it's a small gift, one does not need to do this in the presence of the recipient. In other words, the Naisin can simply just provide instructions and transfer the gift to the other person, and there's no reason, and also you don't need Maimer Shloshton, and I would not think that by Matana Mu'etes he would retract. So Kamash Malan, therefore Rav teaches us that in all cases, Maimer Shloshton only takes effect, this kinyan only takes effect if all three of them are present. So now the Gemara says a story, Hanu Gizoi, which means there were these certain gardeners, and these gardeners basically, they would sell all their produce together. Yes, they would like... What? Cooperative. Right. They would just, I guess they would have a better buying power, not a buying power, but maybe a better selling power. So they would team up together, and there were these gardeners that they would sell all their property, their zachem together. And what happened was they made a calculation of money owed to each other. They sold the product, and now they made a calculation how much each person deserves. Now what happened was Posh Chamesh Istre Zuzi Gabechad Minayu. There remained one of them 5 Istre Zuzi, more than he should have received. So they made a cheshbon and they said, you, Mr. Gardener, 3, you got 5, let's say $5 more than you deserved. So Amrilei, the other gardener said to him, Yahavinu Nahali Lamari Ara. No, give the money to the owner of the land. And they said this in the presence of the owner of the land, and the owner of the land acquired the money from him. In other words, the owner of the land performed a proper kinyan, obligating the gardener to pay this amount. And that's why they did it. The gardeners did this in front of the owner. They said, look, let's say the extra $5, so we owe the owner of the property money, so you pay $5 towards what we owe. Fine. So what happened? At the end, the gardener went and he made his own calculations. He started reckoning his own books, and he calculated that, like Posh Gabi V'leimidi, he calculated and said that you think that extra money was given to me, you should know nothing extra had been left over with him. Also, the Kamei Rav Nachman, he came before Rav Nachman to ask what to do. Amar Leis, Rav Nachman says, Ma Eved Loch. Nachman says, what can I do for you? Chada, number 1, Rav, you have the halacha Rav Huna Rav that said that the kinyan, Maimer Shloshton, takes effect immediately, and therefore the owner of the land really acquired the money from you already. But another problem you have is Hakani Minach. He performed an actual kinyan and thereby acquired the money from you. Right? So first of all, you have Maimer Shloshton, and also acquired, you basically were mechuyev to the owner of the land with the schum, with a kinyan chalipin. So the you have you have two issues, you have two problems. So Rava said to Nachman, Otu hai mikamar lo yavina. Is this to say that the gardener said, I will not give? In other words, he didn't refuse to give the money that he was obligated. He said, if I'm obligated to give the money, I'll give the money. The leka gabe kamar. He actually said, which is not in my possession. His friends told him to give the 5 extra money that remained in his possession. So now he says that this money actually belonged to him. It wasn't extra, it actually belonged to him. So Rav Nachman, so what happened? So Nachman said, okay, if so, this is an acquisition performed in error. And any acquisition performed in error basically goes back to the previous owner. So he was off the hook. So Rava basically saved this guy. Okay, Itmar, it was stated. What was stated? So there's a machlekes amoraim with regards to the following question. If someone instructs a shliach, a person gives a mana to a shliach and tells him, he tells him, deliver this $100 to so-and-so that I owe him. Makes a shliach, I say, here's $100, go give it to Pliny, I owe him, go please deliver this for me. So, Omar Rav says, Chayiv b'achriyusei. Rav says that the shliach, the mishalech who sends the money, has the responsibility in case the shliach messes up, I still have to cover it. I can't say, I gave it to the shliach and now I'm off the hook. So if the 100 dinars are lost by the shliach, the sender has to give another 100 dinars to repay his chayv. Now, in Ba'al Achzer, however, if the sender now wants to retract the repayment after, let's say I give it to the shliach, I give it to you, and now I say, I changed my mind, give it back, let him wait another week for the money. Allah is, I'm not allowed to retract. Shmuel says, since the sender has the financial responsibility for this loss, so what do we see from here? That the 100 dinars are considered to be basically in his reshus. So therefore, in Ba'al Achzer, if he wants to retract, he could be retract. So that's the machlekes amoraim. I tell you, here's $100, go be my shliach to go deliver it to this person. So Rav says the mishaleach is chayiv in the achrayus of the money until it basically gets back into the malva's hands. So if it gets stolen from the shliach, let's say ba'inus, the mishaleach still has to pay another 100 mana. And even though he's chayav b'achrayus, if I want now to go and retract that, the shliach, and I want the shliach to return me the money, he's not allowed to. I'm not allowed to ask for the money back. And Shmuel says that since the mishalech is chayav and the achrayus of the money until the malva gets it, if the mishalech wants, he could tell the shliach, give me back the money. Okay, so now the Gemara says, let us say that what's the machlekes between Rav and Shmuel? The Marsav, Rav holds that when a person says hoylech, when a person says go and give this money to Pliny, mechi hoylech ki zachi dami. That when he says the words hoylech, he's basically saying go and be mezak, go and be mezak for this person. So the shliach now is zeiche for the malva, and therefore, if he's zeicha for the malva, like we said before, that a person could be right zochin adam shlei b'fanav. So by saying hoylech, you're basically saying zachin. So this guy now, this shliach is being zachin for the other person. So zachin adam shlei b'fanav. When you say zach, when you say hoylech, it's like a zachin dami. Umar Shmuel's no. It's that hoylech, when you say the words hoylech, lav kezachi dami, it's not considered that you're saying to acquire, and therefore the malva is not zeicha in the money, and the mashalech can go ahead and retract the money. So the Gemara says, like, that's not the machlekes. The machlekes is not if you say hoylech is kezachi dami or not. So he says like this: the kula alma, everyone agrees that hoylech is kezachi dami. Then when a person says hoylech, you're saying you're zeicha. So what's the machlekes? This is what they're arguing. The Mar Savar, one holds, Rav holds that Rav holds that we do not say that since the Mishaleach bears the responsibility for the loss of the money, so therefore he can retract. The Mar Savar and Shmuel holds that we do say that since the Mishaleach bears the responsibility for the loss of the money, so if he bears the responsibility, he can retract. Okay, Tanya Kavasei Rav, we learned a brayso like Rav, that when a person says, a person tells a shliach, go and give this money, or you say 10 mana. So either you use the expression, give this mana to such and such person that I'm chayiv to him, or go and give this mana to chayiv. You say either haylach or 10, or you say haylach mana lepleni, go and give this money to this person, which is a pikadon sheyesh loy biyadi, which is a pikadon that I have in his hand. So you say, deliver 100 dinars to so and so, as there is a possession. There's a deposit in my. As they are a deposit, he has in my possession. So in all these cases, what's the din? The din is chayiv b'achriyosei. The mishalech is chayiv in the achrayis of the money until it gets into the owner's hands. Now, if the Meshalech wants to take the money back, he cannot go back. So we see that according to Rav, that he cannot go back. So now the Gemara asks, the Pikadon, Lema Lei, the Meshalech should tell the Shliach, Ein Ritzoinai, Shi Hei Piktoni B'Yad Acher. He can tell him that the Gemara is asking, in a case where the shliach accepts upon himself to bring a deposit to its owner, so let the sender, who is let the sender tell him that it's not the will of the owner of the deposit, that this deposit will be in the possession of another. So since this transfer is not in the interest of the owner of the deposit, so the money should remain in the possession of the sender, and therefore you should be able to retract. So Rabbi Zera says we're talking about a case, we're talking about a case where the sender is established as a liar, as a denier. For this reason, the owner of the deposit prefers the money to be transferred to someone else, and the sender cannot claim that it's ein ritzoni shepiktini b'yad acher. Okay, so now the Gemara says a story. Reb Sheshes havelei asharta desarboli b'machuzah. Reb Sheshes, he had a credit of cloaks in the city of Mechuzah. He had these type of cloaks that he sold basically on credit in Mechuzah, and now the time he gave people on credit. He gave people cloaks. He was, let's say, a wholesaler, and he gave now people in Mechuzah. He gave them, I'm giving it to you. I'm not giving it to you on consignment. I'm giving it to you on credit. And I say, well, and you're going to pay me 90 days credit. Let's say net, call it net 90, and you have to pay me now in 90 days. So again, Reb Sheshes had the sarbola b'mechuzah. Reb Sheshes had these cloaks that he sold on credit in the city of Mechuzah. And now the time came to pay. So Amarlei, Reb Sheshes tells Rabbi S Bar Chama. So Rabbi Sheshes tells Rabbi S Bar Chama, who was going to Mechuzah, he told him, "Bahadei the osis aitinu nahali." When you come back to when you go back from Mechuzah, so do me a favor, I have a lot of debt that people owe me, go bring it back for me. So Rabbi S Bar Chama went to Mechuzah, and he went to the people that owed Reb Sheshes money, and he said, listen, Reb Sheshes asked me to bring back the money that you owe them. So what happened was, Yavinu Lei, they gave him the money. So Amar Lei, so the people that paid Rabbi Yosef told him, Nikni minach, are you going to take a kinyan chalipin that you're going to take a chrayis, that if God forbid anything happens to the money, you're going to pay for it? So Amar Lahu, Rabbi Yosef says, yeah, sure, I'm asking to take a chrayis. What happened? At the end, he got out of it, and he never made the kinyan. So since he didn't make the kinyan, so whose achrayus was the money? The money was the guys that owed them the money. And if, God forbid, the money would have got stolen, they would have to pay the money again, because they Okay, so now what happened? So he came back, and when Yosef came back, he gave Reb Sheshes the money, told him what happened. So Reb Sheshes told him, Shaper Avid,
what you did was very, very smart that you delayed out of it. So Shabbos nafsheich, you should know that you did not you didn't get yourself in this matzav. Why? Because the pasuk says Eved Leiva Leish Malva. It says that the Leiva is mishtabit, is meshubit to the Malva, and like it's a pasuk Eved Leiva Leish Malva. When you owe money to somebody, you become his Eved. Now, if you would have been mishtabit with this kinyan, basically you would have been mechuyev to pay the money. Lishnachrin, another expression that Rav Sheshes told Rabbi S of Shaper Avadata, what you did was very smart. Why? Because Eved Leiva Leish Malva. Since the Chayavim are considered like borrowers, they are servants, and they are meshubed to bring me the money, not you.
What's that? Here's different.
Why?
Because a Malva labor is asking for money. Where here he's selling a product, he's making profit on it. So Lav Davke is the same.
You're asking l'chayra lav dafke. It's because Eved Leiva Leish Malva. So the pashas he learns that when you give a credit, you're a borrower. You owe the guy money. It's not the consignment. You're mamash. You owe the guy on credit. You now become a leiva. You're borrowing. Basically, you're borrowing money. What's it? You're borrowing from a bank. You're going to buy merchandise. You borrow. Yeah, you're making credit. Yeah, but you're a leiva. You're borrowing. Any person has a line of credit from the bank now, and he goes and he borrows and takes merchandise, makes money.
Yeah, but here he's selling it.
Yeah, but it's still you owe. At the end of the day, you owe your vendor. You owe money. Okay. The Gemara says, Rav Acha b'Rabbi Yeshua havali ispeka de kaspa b'Nahardoi. Rav Acha, son of Rabbi Yeshua, had a silver vessel in the city of Nahardoi. Look at this. Hear this story. It's a very interesting story. So what happened was Amar Lahu l'Rabbi Shtoi bar Rav Yana l'Rabbi Yeshua bar Kifa. So he told him. Let's get the name straight over here. Who told who? Rav Acha had this silver. Let's say goblet in the city of Nahardoi. So Amar Lahu, Rav Acha, Rav Yeshua tells Rav Deisti bar Rav Yanai and Rav Yesi bar Kiva. He told these two people who are going to Nahardoi, Bahadida sisu asiu nahale. When you come back from Nahardoi, do me a favor, bring me this vessel that belongs to me. Bring me this silver goblet that belongs to me. So Ozul Yahav nahale. They went to the people that are guarding, that are holding in Nahardoi, and they said, give us the kli. So Amr Lahu, the people that were holding on to the Bikadin, said, Niknu minaychu, are you going to be make a kinyan chalipin that if God forbid something happens, you're going to hold a chrayas? So Amr Lahu, so they told him, we're not going to take a chrayas. Amr Lahu, so the people that were holding the Bikadin, they said, okay, hadrin nahalin, give us back the kli. So the Gemara says like this, Rav Destoi b'Rav Yanai Amr Lahu in. So Rav Yanai says, no problem, I'll give it back to you. And the other guy told him, and Rabbi Yesi bar Kippur Amar Lahu loy, I'm not giving it back to you. Why? Because he held that Rav said that when you give a pikadon to a shliach, that he should give it to the Bala pikadon, he doesn't have to give it back. Right? Right, so what does he say? Since the owner of the kli, who was Rav Acha b'Rei Rav Yeshua, told these two rabbanim to give back the kli, to bring the kli back, the Shemri Apikadon cannot say that it's better that it should be in my possession. So the way the Tesis Hadash explains. So now, what happened over here? He says, so again, Nachamos, what happened over here? Rabbi Yesi, Rav Keper said, no, I'm not returning it to you. Rav says, because that when you give the Pikadon to the Shliach, to give it back to the Baal Pikadon, he doesn't have to return it to you. So what happened? The people that were guarding the Pikadon were beating him, or beating Rabbi Yisrael Keeper in order to get back the vessel. So Amru Lei, so the Shtoi, Rabbi Yanai says, Chazi Mar Heichikovid. Look, so he told him like this, he says, they basically tormented Rabbi Yesi bar Kippur to force him to agree to return the vessel. So Rabbi Yesi bar Kippur said to Rabbi Distoi, Chazi mar heichi ka'avid. So he says to him, see my master, what they're doing to me. The pasha beating me. So Rabbi Distoi said to them, Tov Ramale, you're acting well. In other words, hit him. So the Stoi said to them, he deserves to be hit. So again, you had this Rabbi Stoi bar Rabbi Yanai and Rabbi Yesi bar Kifar, that they were both. So Rabbi Yesi bar Yanai says, no problem, I'll give it back to you. And this Rabbi Yesi bar Kifar was an action. He said, absolutely not. Why? Because you gave back the Bikodan, and the Bikodan belongs to the Bala Bikodan. We don't have to return it to you. So he was getting beaten. So Rabbi Stoi, Rabbi Yanai tells him, look what they're doing to me. He tells this to. So Nachama, Amr Lei, they told Rabbi Stoi, Rabbi Yanai, look what the Rav is doing to Rabbi Yesi bar Kifar. He refuses to be Mekabel Achrayas. And nevertheless, he doesn't want to return the Kli. So Amr Lahu, they told Rabbi Stoi, Tov Ramr Lahu. He hit him. Now, also the Gabe, when these two Shluchim came back before the Bala Bikodan, Amr Lei Chazi Mar. So Rabbi Yesi bar Kifar said to him, see my master, so he complained about his fellow guy. He says, not only did the Stoi not support me, he even told them that they should hit me. So he asked him, Rabbi Yesi bar Kifar asked, so he asked him, the name's over here. Tells Rabbi Stoi, why did he do this? Why did you agree right away to give back the Kli? So Rabbi Stoi told him, these people, let me describe to you who these people are. Hein Amma, they're people very tall. The Koven Amma, and they wear very high hats, they're very big. And they speak with a very, very thick voice. And their names are very difficult. Not difficult, like just crazy names. Arda, Arsta, Pili, Breish. And if these people will tell people Kfusu, tie them up, they would tie them up. If they would have killed the Stoi, me, Nasan Liyanai, who would give my father Yanai, Abba, Bar Kamaisi, a son like me? In other words, I wasn't interested in getting killed. So Rabacha Brei Devesha tells him the Stoi, Nei Adam Alalu crave the Malchusin. So Rabacha Brei Devesha tells him, are these people close to the king, to the government? So the Stoi said, hey, they are. Then he asked, do they have horses and mules that run after them? So the Stoi said, hey. So Rabacha says, you did very well that you didn't fight with them. Okay, interesting. Now the Gemara we discussed about Hoylech and Kezachi. So the Gemara says like this. What is the meaning when a person gives to a shliach and says to him, Hoylech mana lepleni, go and give this $100 to this person, v'halach, and now the shliach went to bikshui, and he wants to get it, and he didn't find. So what happened? What happened was the guy says, deliver 100 dinars to so and so, and the shliach went and searched for that person, but he didn't find him. So you have now two brises. Tonicha, the one brise says yachzuru l'mishaleach. One person says the money should be returned to the sender because the sender told the shliach to go and find, give $100 to this person. They couldn't find him, give it back. The guy died. Yeah. So who do you give it back to? So let's see. Rashi. So Haylach mana lepleni. He says, go and give this to $100 to somebody. V'halachu bikshu. And now he went to go to give the matana. He found that he's not alive. So Tanicha, the one brisa says yachsu l'mshalech. One person says that you go give the money back to the mishalech. Another brisa says no. You should give it to the Yorshim to whom it was sent. So now, what does the Gemara say? Lema b'hakamifli. Let us say that what's the machlekes in these two brises? The Mar Savar, one Mar holds that the Tana of the second brise holds hoylech. When you say hoylech mana zel pleni, it's like kezachi. It's like you're saying zachi b'manazu for this pleni. So when he gives the money to the shliach, he's being zeiche for the mekabel. So therefore, when he dies, who does it go to? It goes to the Yarshim. Omar and the other brisa holds savar hoylech is lav kezachi, and therefore the mekabel cannot be zeiche for the money until the money gets to the guy. And now since the guy died, it goes back to the mishalech. So Amar Rabbi Abba Bar Mammal, he says no. The Kula Amar Hilach is Lav Kazachi. I could really tell you that everybody agrees that when you say Hilach is Lav Kazachi, and V'loi Kashi, it's not a question. Why? Because the first brisa which says that you give the money back to the Mishalech is talking about bibari, is talking about when the Mishalech is healthy. So therefore, by a healthy person, a Hilach is Lav Kazachi, and therefore he's not Zeicha to Makabel Matanis. And the second brisa which says that you give the money to the Yershei HaMekabel is talking about B'shchi Minah, when the guy is a Shchi Minah, and B'shchi Minah, the halacha is that, like we said in the morning, is Nechshavim Kiksuvim Ukumisodim. It's like he gets a star and he gets a kinyan. So therefore, when you say Hoylech, it's like he says Zocha and the Shliach is Zocha for the Mekabel. Zvid Amar Rav Ziv says like this: I can tell you that both prices are talking about B'shchi Minah. That when we say by Shchimena Heilich is Kezachi, and nevertheless it's not a stira. Why? Because the second brisa which says that the money goes to the Yorshim is talking about the Isla Mekabel B'Shas Matan Mais. It's talking where the recipient was alive at the time of the giving of the money. So if the recipient is alive at the time of the giving of the money, so when the Shliach is Mekabel the money, he's Zeicha for the Mekabel. So when he dies, who does it go to? It goes for the Yarshim. And the second brisa which says that the money goes back is talking about the less than the Mekabel b'shas matan mais. The Mekabel was not alive when the Shliach got the money, so therefore he's not Zeicha. Who's he Zeicha for? He's Zeicha for the dead person. The guys were dead when he got the money. So therefore it goes back to the original owner. Another explanation, Papa says, I could spin it as a both brises are talking about the body, is talking about a healthy person. And the Mashaleach, that the Mashaleach who sent the money, the matana, was healthy. And we know by a bari, Haylech is lav kezachi dami. And you could say that the first brisa is talking about, that says that the money goes back to the Mashaleach, is talking about the mis, that he died, the mis mekabel b'chayi neisen, that the recipient died in the lifetime of the giver, and he did not acquire the money himself. So therefore the Yorshim don't take possession. And the second brisa which says that it goes to the Yershei Abal, it's talking about the mis neisim b'chayim mekabel. It's talking about where the giver, the mis b'chayim mekabel neisim, if the recipient died in the lifetime of the giver, so he doesn't get it. And the mis neisim b'chayim mekabel, whereas the giver died in the lifetime of the recipient. Once he dies, so the halacha is that it's a mitzvah to mekayim divrei ames. So the Gemara says, Leima kahilach kizachi tanai. Shall we say that this thing of hailach kizachi is a machlekes tanaim? The Tanya we learned in the Brayso, hailach mana lepleni. If a person says, deliver 100 dinner to so and so, and now he went and he didn't find him. So yachzul mishalech, it should go back to the shalech. Meis mishalech, if the mishalech dies, of nasan Rabbi Yaakov Imru, yachzul liyoshem mishalech, give it back to the yoshem mishalech. Ve'shemrim, and some people say liyoshem mishnish tachulei, you give it to the yoshem of the one whom it was sent. The Brayso continues. Rabbi Yehuda Anasi Mishum Rabbi Yaakov. Rabbi Yehuda Anasi says in the name of Rabbi Yaakov, Sha'amar Mishum Meir, he says, mitzvah l'kayim divrei ames. It's a mitzvah to fulfill the statement of the dead person. Therefore, the money should be given to the Yorshim to whom it was sent. Chacham said, no, yachleiku. You have a machlekes to divide the money. The Kan Amru, and here in Bavel they said, Kol ma sheyirtzu shaliach, whatever the shliach wishes, yasu he could do. Or Rav Shimon Nasi says, Ayod di haya ma'isa. You should know, when an incident of this occurred under my jurisdiction, I was mechoker what to do, and V'amru, and the Chacham told me, Yasu the Yershim Shalech should be returned to the Yershei Shalech. So the Gemara says, my lab hakim. It must be, what's the machlekes? The Tanakama savar haylech lav kezachi. The Tanakama hold that when you say haylech is lav kezachi dami, and therefore the money should be returned to who? To the Mishalech. And even though he died, and even though he died, we don't say it's a mitzvah to mekayim the divrei ames. Some people say haylech is kezachi. Therefore, the mekabel takes possession of the money immediately and is given to the Yorshim. When I say haylech is lav kezachi, however, in the case where the sender died, we say, I'm reading mitzvah l'kayim divrei ames. We say it is a mitzvah to be mekayim the mace. Therefore, the 100 dinars should be given to the Mekabli to the Yarshim. Now, the Chacham say Yachleiku, you should divide it. Why? Because Mesapkilu, it's a suffix about the halacha. The Kan Amru, and here the Chacham say Shuda Adif. When you have a Shuda, which is like a discretion, so then you say Shuda Adif. Rav Shimon Anasi Maisa Os Lashminon. Rav Shimon ben Anasi does not offer his own opinion. Rather, he comes to teach us in a Maisa in which this case was decided in practice. So the Gemara says no. That's not what happened. In regards to where the giver was a healthy person, when he appointed the shliach, everyone agrees that hoylech is lav kezachi dami. However, what are we dealing with b'shchimina? We're talking about a shchimina. Plux that Rabbi Lazar, Rabbanan Kamiflik. They're arguing in the machlekes between Rabbi Lazar and the Chacham. What's the machlekes? The Tanan. We learned in a Mishnah. So Mishnah Baba Basra says, "Amachal nechazav apiv." With regards to the person who divides his property with a star orally. Rabbi Lazar says, "Echad bari, echad masukin." Both in the case of a healthy person, in the case of a dangerously ill person. So nechasim sheish lamachrayis. Property that serves as a guarantee, in other words, land. Whenever we say nechasim sheish lamachrayis, it's talking about karka. So the halacha is nikne bekesev ubeshtar bechazaka, can be acquired through kesev, shtar, and chazaka. Now she'en lamachrayis, let's say metaltlin ein nikne el b'mashicha. The only way you could be koine metaltlin is b'mashicha. Chacham say no. Elu nikne b'amira. Sai karka and sai. If the giver is a shimina, then both his property and the property that can be acquired through speech, and there's no need for a kinyan. Now, so we had a Mishnah, Amachal Nechazav Apiv. Rabbi Lazar says, Saya Bari, Saya Masukin, Nechasim Sheish Lamachrayis need to have Keser Shtar B'Chazaka, and Shein Lamachrayis is Niklim B'Mashiach. The Chacham say that if it's a Masukin, then Elu Niklim B'Amira. Now, Amrullah, they said to Rabbi Lazar, who said, Echad Bari, V'Echad Masukin, Nechasim Sheish Lamachrayis Niklim B'Keser Shtar B'Chazaka, Shein Lamachrayis Niklim B'Mashiach. As they said, Ma'aseh B'Ima Shel Reichel Shehayisa Chayla. There was a story, an incident with regard to the mother of the family of the sons of Reichel. Shehayisa Chayla, she was sick. V'Amra Tinasin, and while she was ill, she said, Tinasin Kibni Libiti. We're holding now Daf Kasvavam Aleph. She said that Kibinosi Libiti. She said that you should give this like tachshit to my daughter. Vihi, and she was B'shnei Maser Mana, and this was worth 1,200 dinars. Umeis, and the woman died, and the Chachamim fulfilled her statement. So Amar Lahem, Rabbi Lazar said to them, B'nei Reichel tikbarim imam. Rabbi Lazar said to them that the sons of Rachel should be buried by their mother. In other words, he cursed them. Rabbi Lazar meant that it's not possible to bring a raya from this Maisa, as these sons were Rishoyim. So in dealing with them, the Chacham did not act in accordance with the halacha, but allowed their mother to give this valuable piece of jewelry to their sister, which is not the halacha. And like he says, that since the Rishonim, you don't know the Pratei HaMaisa. Okay, Tana Kamei Rabbi Lazar, the Gemara says the first Tana holds in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Lazar, who holds that there must be an actual kinyan, or the money still belongs to the Nason. Rabbi Nassim Yaakov Nami Rabbi Lazar, and he also holds like Rabbi Lazar. Nevertheless, however, Afal Gav Demis, even though the giver died, so we don't say Le'amrin Mitzvah L'Kaim Divrei Rameis. We don't say Mitzvah L'Kaim Divrei Rameis. We Yishim K'Rabbanan. Okay. Rabbi Yehuda Shomer Shamar Shomer Meir K'Rebbe Lazar. He was a K'Rebbe Lazar. Mio Heichad the Misa Amrin Mitzvah L'Kaim Divrei Rameis. When he dies, we say there's a Mitzvah L'Kaim Divrei Rameis. V'Chacham Meir Yachleiku Why Because Mesapkalu. V'Kan Amru Shuda Adif. Here we say that the discretion of the shliach is preferable. Rav Shimon Anasi says Ma'isa Os Lashmina. He's just telling us what the Ma'isa happened. So now the Gemara says, I'm going to ask you a question. Rav Shimon Anasi mentioned here. Nasi who? Is he a Nasi? Or is he saying it in the name of the Nasi? Tashmad Am Rav Yeza Allah Rav Shimon Anasi. Allah Rav Shimon Anasi. V'dayin Tibai Allah Nasi or the Kamar Mishmei the Nasi. The Gemara says Teiku. The Gemara doesn't answer this question. Gufa Amar Rabbi Yehuda, halacha Reb Shimon Anasi, the halacha is Reb Shimon Anasi that the money should be returned to the Yorshei of the sender. But you just said that when it comes to Shchimera, we consider it like written and delivered. So if so, the Shliach should give the money to who? To the Yorshim of the recipient. So the Gemara says like this: Rabbi Yosef Muki La Bebari. Rabbi Yosef established salach with regard to a healthy person, not someone who's a Shchimera. So the Gemara says, well, but you just said that who does it go to? It goes to the money should be returned to the Yorshim of the sender. The Kaim Alon, and we maintain that mitzvah Kaim Divrei Meis. We said that there's a mitzvah Kaim Divrei Meis even if he issued these instructions when he was healthy. So the Gemara says, Tani, you have to fix the words of Reb Shimon Anasi and teach Yachzir L'Meshaleach, he should return the money to the sender, not to the Yorshim, as this is referring to a case where the sender had not died. Hadn Allah maybe Kama. Baruch Hashem, we concluded the first parak. So again, just to recap, I know we're going very, very quickly over here. So just on Sunday, Mitzvah Hashem, we're going to be doing 2 blat, Tezvav and Tezayin. And then I believe the Monday as well, we're going to be doing 2 blat. And then on Tuesday, we're going to go back to the Seder of learning 1 blat. Have a good Shabbos.